are still tuned in with Breauxs and Brews. If you don't know by now, you're going to learn. I am your host, Obatiye Jonqeice, joined with my co-host,
Jayflair.
Tranesha Johnson.
And we're still here with two special guests, Miss Deanna Williams of Custom Creations and the legendary DJ Bootsie. You know, Sergeant McKneely had to head out, as you saw him in uniform. He wasn't dressed up for nothing. So he had to go out and patrol our streets of Baton Rouge. Man, glad you guys still here. You know, having a good day. We flowing. Man, so we're going to go ahead and jump in with Miss Deanna Williams of Custom Creations. So tell the people a little more. I know you said that you make treats. You know, how long have you been doing it?
What kind of treats?
You know, what kind of treats are you specializing in?
Do you cater?
Yeah, are you catering? Where can the people hit you up at?
Okay, so yes, I do all kinds of treats for every event. Mostly, I have been doing a lot of kids' parties as far as themes, shimmer and shine, Crayola, all of the above. I actually just started the business, so it is a small upcoming business that I'm trying to promote.
All about growing businesses, absolutely.
Yes, but as far as the treats, I do dip pretzels, dip Rice Krispie treats, candy apples.
Hey, which I've tasted, which are delicious.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
I do a variety of cakes, bundt cakes, any cake that you actually want to, make. Yes, I do cater.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to see what that pecan bundt cake hitting for.
Also do pecan.
Look,
He ain't by himself.
man, look.
I also do pecan candy, popcorn balls, everything. So anything you might need. As far as like pecan candy, if you don't like the nuts or if you want to substitute it for almonds, or I can do it.
Walnuts, cashew, okay.
I might need to holler at her when I go to the movies.
Yes, so you guys can follow me on my Instagram. It is Creation Customs, or
How you spell that?
K, both with K's.
Okay.
KREATION KUSTON.
Okay.
That works.
Creation Customs. Or you can, if you want to place an order, you can, reach me at creationcustoms@yahoo.com.
There you
Good
go.
work, good work. Hey, look, and I guess we can look forward to having what is called a bundt cake.
A bundt cake.
A bundt. Look, I never had one.
I
before,
was about
but-
to say.
Hey, look, I look forward to it. So now let's go ahead and get into a segment in which we call Tiffany Talks.
Tiffany Talks.
What's going on out there in the world, Miss Tiffany?
All right, well, I've been listening to a lot of dope albums lately. First and foremost, I'm going to start with who I shouted out last episode, Yella Beezy. He actually dropped the album on the 16th called Ain't No Going Back. He got a song on there with another artist that I feature all the time, Tokyo Jets. I love it. It's called What You Want. So check that one out. Also, my boy Smino. If y'all have heard any of his music, Anita or Netflix and Duce featuring T-Pain, he's really dope. His diction is very different, which I really like. He got a project out called Noir, and I'm really feeling We Got the Biscuits, which I know that sound crazy, but listen to it, it's really dope.
If you know Smino, you would understand why he. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's super different.
Yeah.
You gonna find out.
Look, I appreciate the insight.
You gotta listen to Smino, bro.
Also, the City Girls dropped Girl Code. I'm really
Oh, that's the song.
feeling.
Twerk on that song.
I'm really feeling
Oh, yeah, I know
Twerk
that
featuring
song,
Cardi
yeah.
B.
I mean, like, I really like the song itself, yeah.
Yeah, and the little competition is dope. They you do a little twerk video to their song Twerk. They dropping 25K, I think, to the first 20
does
people.
Gender matter? Like, as far
No,
as those-
no, it's like
What's happening?
Hey, hold up.
Hey, no, I'm asking for a friend. I'm not talking.
Get your 25K, bro. Don't let these people from getting that bad. I know that's right. I know that's right.
Hey, no.
There's a better way to get 25K. For a
Twerk on
man.
Instagram. But no, shout out to the City
Boy,
Girls.
I never
and
let you live that down, boy. Boy.
It will be featured on the YouTube channel. So don't do it.
Oh, no, not at all.
Opening credits.
Hey, look, I'm asking for a friend.
But no, the last thing I'm gonna feature is the soundtrack to Creed 2, which drops Thanksgiving Day. The movie drops Thanksgiving Day, but the album, the soundtrack is all produced by Mike Will Made It. He did an amazing job. My favorite song on there right now.
Will Made It.
He did a basically a remix. He took the beat to Nuck If You Buck, and he has Crime Mob rapping on the song. So it's like for nostalgia purposes. I'm gonna be real and say I didn't really like what he did with the beat, but to hear Crime Mob on it, rapping in the same sections they was on Nuck If You Buck, it just bring back really good memories.
Absolutely. Childhood.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, the soundtracks, I'm really into soundtracks to movies. So go pick this one up. It's really dope. It's on Tidal, Apple Music, all streaming services. So that's all I got for today.
Hey, that's another segment of Tiffany Talks.
Absolutely.
Shout out. DJ Boot, how long have you?
That's what I normally do on the radio. I talk about new albums that come out.
Nah.
Yep.
Trying to keep that roasting down.
DJ Boot, how long have you been DJing?
DJ,
Or
well,
just being involved with the craft of music?
like DJing, I started while I was still in high school, actually. But it was just to really clown around with it, you know what I'm saying? Then I started getting asked to do certain parties around the neighborhood of South Baton Rouge, like the YMCA and a couple other places in Baton Rouge that's no longer here, like different hotels and stuff like that. I would do parties there and actually would DJ with other DJs and stuff like that. So I didn't really take it serious till one of my mentors that you probably know, DJ New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was one of my mentors, and then DJ Incredible was my other mentor. Wow. So so what wound up happening when they came at me with the opportunity to DJ at the clubs that they was at, because back then Incredible was the main DJ at Dreams, and New Orleans was the main DJ at Vibes. So went there, learned the game from them, and then, of course, at Vibes, the club manager over there he instilled in me more of the business side of it, because with DJing, it's not about just doing one thing. You want to have the full. It's just like with her job. Yeah, she cooks, she bakes cakes, she bakes this, does that. But what good to do that, and you're gonna run a business if you don't know the business side of it. True that. So that started back in 2000 when I really started taking it serious. So from 2000 up until now, that's how long I've been DJing.
Wow.
So about 18 professionally, and like 23, 24 all together. Yeah.
At what point in your career you knew, like, not saying, how we can be, like, okay, what I'm saying? Like, I'm straight, like, I got different people calling. Like, when, at what point in your career you felt like you can go into any party, any nightclub, any event and just shut it down?
I really don't even have that feel. I just love entertaining people, because the one thing I look at is, and the one thing I've always looked at, I've never looked at anything locally. I always thought on a national and global. That's how my mindset always thought. When I started DJing, I wanted to DJ in other cities, other states, other markets, get my name out there even more. And once I started getting in at the clubs, and at that time, it wasn't as many clubs then as it is now. Right. Back then, it was about the club and the DJ. It wasn't about a promoter, because the promoter wasn't even around. Like, the promoter didn't come about till the middle part of the 2000s and stuff like that. So my whole thing was to really just always have a mindset of DJing on a national level. It's never been locally.
Right. Hey,
Yeah.
You tied in with some big name guys.
Like you said, he DJ for Masterpiece.
Yeah. Like, I'm Masterpiece official road DJ. I've also, my first artist DJing gig was actually DJing for CeeLo in the concentration camp.
There we are. Yeah.
So, and it was funny how that even much happened, he was doing a show at Vibes, and like most artists, they'll come there with they show on the CD or whatever. Well, in that day, it was DATs and ADATs and, stuff like that. So, of course, with me DJing for him, I've always did a little bit extra. So he come and do his show, like, I would make it a part. I wouldn't just let it play. I cut the music off, cut the music on, cut the music off, cut the music on, stuff like that. Yeah. So that's how I actually first started. And then eventually I wound up being Mr. Magic's DJ before he passed. And that's how earlier in the program when I said my spiritual advisor and my marriage counselor, that's who I was talking about.
That's crazy.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So it went from me being his DJ, then he opened up a club in Gardere, and I was his DJ there, and then it started for me because he was a part of No Limit too. And a lot of people don't know, No Limit used to be based in Baton Rouge, true that. On the other side of I-10 right now on Corporate Boulevard. A lot of people don't know that. So that's how I really started getting my name out there. And then I used to just go out there and get my name out there. Like, we didn't have social media to get your name out there.
Right.
Like, if I wasn't DJing, I was at somebody's club.
Right.
But the thing was, I was cool with all of the DJs at the other clubs, so they would always give you that shout out in the club. My dog DJ Bootsie in the building, and I was cool with everybody. Even though I was from South Baton Rouge, which I use that in my gigs now when I'm in the club. Yeah, I'm from South Baton Rouge, but I represent Baton Rouge. I represent the state of Louisiana. I don't care if you're from Gardere. I don't care if you're from Zion City. I rock with everybody because I know people in all those areas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether they thugs or whether they intelligent, whatever. I know everybody. I know family members, everything. Because I have a cousin stay in Glen Oaks. Have a cousin stay over here, Right. So, I mean, my thing was to really just put that focus into just messing with everybody, not just messing with everybody that's from my city. I mean, like my hood in the city.
Absolutely.
So that's how I wound up even getting that. And then my good friend Jay Tweezy used to be the program director here at Max 94.1.
Okay.
He called me out the blue, and he had Master P on the other line. And he was like, we want you to come in and DJ for P. Wow. So Tweezy and his friends at that time, they was the one that helped me get on at the radio station. Because I know you're going to get to that, how I got into radio and stuff like that. So they was the ones that helped me get on at the station. And me and Tweezy still been good friends, still talk to this day. He was the one that helped me get on with Master P. And I've been with P since 2012. I've been with P since 2012, and actually, Magic was the one that gave me the nod to go ahead and take it. Go ahead and rock with P.
Right.
Long as P take care of you the way you need to be taken care of, then rock with him. And that's what. And I'm not talking about financially take care, but just my mindset.
Yeah.
Because if my mindset don't rock with you, I'm not gonna rock with you.
Absolutely.
And that's how it should be, man.
Absolutely. I mean, man, no crab in the bucket mentality. It's like when you just, develop the connection. I mean, it's all about connecting. And that's what we like to call ourselves, someone who can introduce each other, to, growing their business and their audience and, that's things like that. I had actually lost my train of thought, just listening to your story. So like you spoke earlier, about having these different programs in the school. So would you be for, I'm not sure the age of your children, but if they came, I know you said your daughter's 10, right?
Yeah, and I have another son that's 13. Well,
so,
14.
So you got, 2 kids. If they come to you and say, Dad, we don't want to go to school, we just want to get a trade and start working.
When they graduate?
Right. When they graduate. But what's your take on that? Because obviously we know how in some households, like we mentioned last show, education is kind of pushed. Go to school, get your degree, kind of be safe.
Yeah.
the trade is not necessarily frowned upon, but if you don't have another option, get you a trade. But if they just came to you and they have the grades and they say, Dad, I want to get a trade versus going to college.
Going to college? I mean, I'm going to support them in whatever, just like my mama did, my daddy did, you know. It was, I chose to go to college. Okay. You know, I didn't finish college, but I made that decision. I said, I'm going to go and try college out. Well, college ended up not being for me.
Right.
And what I went to Southern for wasn't even for what I'm doing now. Right. I was going for something totally different, which a lot of people go for one thing and they end up working something else. You know what I'm saying? So if my kids was to say they wanted to go to trade school or wanted to go to, they don't want to go to LSU or Southern, they want to go to community college or, you know, I'm going to back that decision. You know what I'm saying? Because college is not for everybody, first of all. So why waste your time? Why waste filling out all that paperwork to try to get student loan, financial aid, and all that, and getting debt for nothing? You know, so, I mean, if they want to go to trade school or, like, my daughter told me at 7 years old, she wanted to go to culinary school. You know, so I'm going to back their decision on whatever they, you know, choose they want to do.
Okay. I mean, as long as they're able to, you know, I guess, you know, just be, be able to support themselves. So, questions on questions on questions. How would you feel? So how would you feel if your significant other said you weren't pleasing them in bed?
That should have been under the wire. Come on, rephrase that again.
He can't. Well, you surprised me with that.
You know I gotta throw that out there, man. I
knew it was coming, but
hey, look, y'all. So Bootsie, how would you feel?
How would I feel? What would you do? What would you say? What would I do? I mean, it's hard to say because I mean I have kids.
Hey, so it's okay. It's good at the Bootsie residence. It's all good. You know, but not what we, you know, I think it's always how we speak about being just, you know, a level of maturity and being able to, you know, speak about, you know, those different topics. So, I mean, those situations.
That's the only answer I'm going to come with on that one.
Hey, man, y'all know.
Got kids.
Y'all know how it go. And so I think, Jay, like you mentioned in the group earlier this week.
Yeah, we got some thought-provoking questions.
Is the N-word really a term of endearment? Who can say it and why?
That's for everybody.
I'll answer that one first. I think, because I use it a lot. But I use it as a part of the language that it is. But I use it amongst the people I rock with. Yeah. You know, and right now it's being used too loosely by the other gender. You know, not gender, but the other ethnicity.
Right.
Other race or whatnot, you know. Like white folks, they like, what's up, my?
I mean,
cause when it's said towards me,
it's offensive.
Like my facial expression drops quick because I think the younger kids really don't get the whole aspect of the word,
the whole historical
meaning behind it. But with me, I drop back into that Black Panther mode because no, it's not a name it's not a word we should be saying. But it's a part of the vocabulary and culture that we use, you know. But like I say, it's like if I see you or I see you, and we good friends, man, what's up, man? Mm-hmm. But if a white person come at me, hey, what's up, man? Would you just call me? Yeah. You know, I think, you know, it's just being used too loosely out there. And, I mean, the thing is, I mean, from the 6ix9ines and all these other artists, you know, they using it. I'm like, how come? And the majority of the people around him are asking, they black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why y'all ain't telling this fool nothing?
Right.
Like they think it's cool to use that word, but the thing is, it all goes back to not knowing what you actually saying to use the word.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was what the white folks used to do to us to degrade us.
Exactly.
We just took the ER off and added a A to it and used it to saying, instead of saying, hey, what's happening, man? We hey, man, what's up?
Right.
We use that word in place of that. So that's where it all come up from, even back in the early music days, and I know, I think it was about maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they was trying to get people to stop using that word.
True that.
But it's like, how you gonna get people to stop using a word that's already in their vocabulary?
True that.
Just like how you gonna tell Bootsie or Rick Ross or Snoop, we don't want you to say a word. Well, yeah, you can easily bleep it out on the recording,
But you can't.
but
change
you can't.
someone's culture.
It's a part of a culture, just like how everything else is a part of a culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The clothes you wear, the hairstyles that from my braids to your hair to your fade to your hair to your color. The same thing with yours. It's a culture.
Right.
You can't change that. The only person that can change that is us.
Right. We ain't willing to do it.
And if people not willing to do it, it ain't gonna happen.
So
So
are
what's
you
your,
cool?
What's your take on it, Mr. Malcolm X over here? What's your-
Hey, look, I was gonna ask how do you feel about it being in movies? Like the Quentin Tarantino films, the Hateful Eights, the Django's. Do you feel it's used?
I feel like it's used too loosely in movies too. Cause if you think about it, Quentin Tarantino, he's not.
Yeah, he's
don't
not.
look
He
like us.
he on the opposite
Like-
side. But at the end of the day, if I'm representing a film that was made in the 1800s doing slavery or those time periods, I don't know if it was used. We don't know because we weren't alive during that time.
You talking about like Quentin Tarantino using the word in his movies?
Yeah.
I think what we got to remember is first off, just like on How I Learned It, on the movie How I Learned It, and it's just like Sergeant McKneely said, with him being a police officer, it's his job.
Mm-hmm.
Those actors and actresses that's in the movie, do we know they really want to say that word? We'll never know.
True that, because they do.
But they getting paid to say that word in a movie.
True that.
Just like Quentin Tarantino, with all of the movies that he's directed and put out, he's giving you a pictorial movie of what happened during that time.
Absolutely.
Because it'd be the same thing with Spike Lee, just like Spike Lee with She's Gotta Have It, or with Jungle Fever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's giving you a different view from his eyesight, and what he wrote, what he wants everybody else to see.
Yeah.
Right.
It's basically he's putting it in your face, because that's just like if you wrote a book, but the white man cut you a check to direct the movie. It's coming from your book, but it's coming out of his pocket.
In his view.
In his view. So does that make him wrong for doing that?
Right.
No. So I don't see nothing wrong with Quentin Tarantino or any other white director or movie producer that puts a movie out that depicts what happened as a part of our history.
True.
Because what he's doing is it's just like going to class. He's giving you a history lesson of what happened back in them days, in the 1800s or the early 1900s or whatnot. Just like with Spike Lee with Malcolm X.
True that.
Who really would have put a movie out about Malcolm X? Nobody. So it's ways you gotta look at it. You can't look at it just like we can't view all police officers as racist cops or bad cops. just cause those few bad apples in the bucket is the ones that's doing bad, that don't make the rest of them like them.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
You know, because I was even thinking it at one point, like, I think Spike was kind of getting upset because like all of the comedy that goes into those films and like like a comical line that might use the N-word in it. I think he was kind of getting upset about that, but at the end of the day, we don't. That's probably how they talk back then. We don't know. So, you know, I kind of appreciate, but like you said, again, those actors are getting paid to say those things. We don't know if they genuinely and truly feel that way. So, I myself, being an actor, being a part of the arts, if I got paid $25 million to say, you know, offensive word, probably do it. But not just for the bread, just simply because if that's what was said or done during that time period, I know what I'm getting into, you know, beforehand.
So
And-
do you feel like it's a term of endearment?
And so the N-word being a term of endearment, I think it is. I think we've taken it as to, man, that's my, you know what I'm saying, versus someone else saying it being, that's my, that way, you know, or he's a, you know, versus, but at the end of the day, it gets to a point where, like, my mom kind of raised me like to not say it. Yeah, like,
We have a question, right?
yeah, like my mom was like,
Question.
don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she got a question.
Okay, we got a question. Oh, we started going. And we got a question from the audience. Come on in and join in. And
So basically, going back to the topic of entertainment, do you guys feel as if those things between music, movies, things of that nature, do you feel as if these artists or actors are using it for popularity or quality of work? So do you think the quality of work is different than it was back then, or do you think they're using terms to get attention or popularity?
I think it may be a little bit of both.
true. I don't necessarily think that. Are you speaking like all ethnicities or one particular? Okay. I think it'll be hard to have like a Malibu Most Morning trying to use that to get popularity, you know. But I can understand the culture, you know, like they want to wear the chains, they want to be what have. But as far as the word, I'm not too sure.
I think they use. I think they use the reason why, and not to sound racist,
No,
but
man.
I think the reason why white folks use the word now is because, one, we've always known this since rap has become the biggest entertainment thing in the industry. And the thing is, when you look at a group like the Beastie Boys just wanted to be B-boys, like the Run DMCs and stuff like that. So fast forward to now, and you have 6ix9ine, and there's so many other artists out there. I can't even remember their names. But when you look at somebody like 6ix9ine, but you look at somebody like Post Malone,
Yeah, no. I
Is
agree
it-
with 6ix9ine because 6ix9ine is Hispanic. I feel like if you're black or brown, cool.
nah, but nah, I've never heard Post Malone use the word.
But I heard he uses it.
See,
But I feel
Yeah.
like what is if the intent behind the word isn't, you know, it doesn't have no
I don't want you
derogatory.
saying it at all, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, my thing is-
I don't want
So
you
what's
saying
your,
it at
I
all.
wanted to get y'all take
my
on
thing
that.
is, I don't think it should be used at all. I know how we use it,
So much.
and it's a that word is a part of a black culture. First of all, like I said, it's a difference. Is A compared to ER. ER is what our
You say
ancestors
ER, I'm
went.
straight.
You know,
I'm straight jumping over the table.
Yeah.
ER,
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
because I think
ER.
like if someone
So that
says,
changes
or
the
even if it's
definition
like
of
a
the
true
word,
study-
too?
Oh, it really do.
Does it?
because
It
because
does.
the ER
It
means like an
absolutely-
ignorant individual.
Yeah.
Because it came
Like
from
you're
English.
saying
So,
that
but
to be
if you
spiteful.
but
Like,
if
I
you
don't.
think about it, they were calling one another that where they come from, because that what it meant. It means that you know, to be an ignorant individual. So let's think about it, right? You come from Europe, you kidnap slaves. They don't understand your language. They don't understand your culture. You're gonna call them ignorant.
Yep.
That's the word that you use. So then it comes here, since they hear it so much, like in Malcolm X said in his book and on the film.
Yeah.
I heard it so much, I thought it was my name.
Yeah.
Right.
So now we're saying it amongst each other. You want to take it out of rap music. You want to take it out of our culture. You want to say
Or because we made it something positive.
Yeah.
exactly, meaning not so more so meaning like, you know what, you my, you know what I'm saying, we got a bond. You my brother.
Yeah.
Sort of say versus I'm trying to degrade you. We trying to flip the word and give the positivity to it.
I feel like anybody that's not supposed to be saying it come out.
If you have to,
I was about to say
I just
because
think if you have to think
it's
about
so crazy.
it,
I think
yeah.
it's gonna sound so.
It's still,
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
sound so.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound so crazy because we can use it as a word of endearment.
Yeah.
Like I'm raising up my brothers, my
Yeah.
what have you. But then what if someone from a different ethnicity
I
come in
mean,
and say,
I feel
"What's
like-
happening, my
Probably
brother?"
like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they probably
You know, it's like
grew up in a black neighborhood.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like, what if?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sometimes white people may grow up around, black people in black neighborhoods, and they give them that okay
Rap
to
music,
say the
man.
word.
I should have told you that that's not okay for you
I
to
mean,
say,
would
even
you
if
have-
did grow up here.
Cause see, like I say, when I grew up, white folks didn't say the N word. They didn't say it.
You know,
Like they would never say that word. Like they come and see me, man, what's up, Boosie, man, what's up? You know, that's all it was. It wasn't no, man, that's Boosie, oh, that's my.
Yeah. I feel like people do it to test you.
So how do
See
you?
if you gonna.
So how do you react
so
to
should
that?
we
Like,
still respond to that word?
From who?
I feel
From
like
who?
it's always gonna stir up a
From
negative
the
emotion.
From the white
opposite-
person?
Yeah. I mean, should we still be fired up about that word?
Call,
Hey man, look at
call,
these
call
boots.
me that and see what happens.
Mop across the table.
Cause you gotta look at it like this. Like I said, it's like being at a job and one of your coworkers come up to you and say, "Oh yeah, man, that's my." They finna lose their job because they not supposed to be talking like that around there. Of course, when we say it, we still not supposed to say it, but they don't pay us no attention to it. They don't pay no mind to it. But the thing is, if like this is where the double sword come in at, because if a white person come up to you and say, "That's my end," he's saying it the way we trying to say it. But then if he mad at you, if he come at you mad, "Oh stupid," I know what you talking about still.
Exactly.
The double sword gonna come in at because it's an A and it's an ER. The double sword that gonna come in for me is whether you call me the A or the ER and you white, I'm still gonna bash your head in. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
That'll be the same way as if a male come and call a female.
I feel
a
like the
B-word.
terms we use for
You know
them
what I'm
is
saying? It's
it can't compare to.
It's no word in the English dictionary. No synonym for that word. It's none.
It's,
It's
yeah.
not at all. But like Boots just made a point, that's kind of it's similar to like the B word in addressing a female.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't really think it's no way that you can say it in a nice way, but women can.
Women
see
use
how
it in
women-
y'all
but
use
see,
it as a term of
is
endearment.
Women
But for
can say it
dudes
amongst
to say
themselves,
it's-
like
Yeah.
black people should use the N word amongst ourselves. Is I mean,
But it goes back, it goes back though. It goes back to what we was
But
talking
if you
about
put
earlier
the
in the
word
show.
bad
Don't call
in
me
front
what
of
you
it,
don't
is it
want me to call
okay
you.
then?
Exactly. Don't call you what you want to be called. I mean, like don't call me what you.
Call me by my name that I told you.
Case closed.
So would you guys side with brother Malcolm or brother Martin?
Would you? Oh, like it just in general?
Because brother Martin was more so like okay, you call me that, but I'm which would kind of bring me a point like this. How brother Malcolm X, as we all know, he's national icon, right? So, and Dr. King, let's fight to have our kids treated equally, or side Malcolm X. Let's fight. Let's create our own.
Because the stuff that Dr. King was fighting for still to this day, like.
I mean, but you can't. I mean, no discredit to Dr. because.
No, and it's not no discredit.
Because he was assassinated at the age of 39, and when the coroner's office, obviously did all the stuff that they did, he said he had the heart of a 65-year-old man. Died at 39, but going through the stress of a 70-year-old man. So, I mean, obviously, as you guys know, I'm a huge lover of Malcolm X, so I'm more so
know
on the
Malcolm.
side of, establishing my own community. Don't force where you want to be.
I think
I
we
think
should.
that is both, though.
I think you really do both. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I think it's
Because
both.
the thing is, our ancestors went through so much and even Martin Luther King. Dr. King went through a whole lot.
Oh yeah, he really
to
did.
really fight for us to be able to vote and for females and it's just a whole bunch of stuff. But at the same time, Malcolm they both fought for the same thing, but they
Exactly.
fought for different things.
True that, true that.
So you still gotta fight for this part and fight for that part. You know what I'm saying? But you can still bring it all together
Yeah.
and make it do what should be done. You know what I'm saying?
My thing is, we have to coincide with other people. We just have to. It's Earth. I mean,
Yeah.
so we can build our own, but what happens when you don't have the resource to build your own? You still have to go to the other side and get.
And case in point, what you talking about? What's the one thing we never do?
Stay together.
Support.
We don't support. We don't support.
So
Like
I mean,
we have a whole lot of black businesses in Baton Rouge by itself. Like a friend of mine had a black restaurant in South Baton Rouge.
You wouldn't support.
It wouldn't nobody like we would support so and so, but we don't support it enough to keep it open.
exactly.
We support Del Pitts, the chicken shacks. We support Empire Wings,
Blue Stove.
but the Blue Stone ain't us though.
Right.
That's the thing though.
Exactly.
We support Tony's, but let's go out there and just like I said, we need like Vic. He just opened up a second location. Right on
Gardner,
Burbank.
like the old,
On Burbank, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like we support Empire Wings. We support Chicken Shack.
I think,
We support who else? We support Boil and Roux. We support Kathy's on Florida.
Florida and Wooddale, yeah.
The thing is, for us to really make everything work the way it needs to work, we got to support each other, but we don't. We always want to get the freebie. We always want,
And I think that has a lot to go. Like we always mention in the show, and we're gonna take a break after, but I think it always goes to like slavery in a way.
Yeah, everything.
Like, and it's so crazy how like the systems 400 years of slave are still in place.
Yeah.
Like you never want to see your brother do good if it ain't you. So it's like in a good world, we got a billionaire who donates and buys up all this land. We start our own hospitals, our own school, because those are the 4 essential things that you need to have your own community.
Yep.
School, hospital, bank, grocery store. Those are the 4 essential things that you need. We don't have those 4 things, right? Or who's willing to do it. Now, I heard, and this might be a little crazy before we go in, but how I think Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam was kind of criticized because he signed a truce with the KKK, right? I don't know how true it is, but I think in some form it's true, but he wanted like 400 to 500 acres of land. Y'all don't come over here trying to kill our brothers and sisters. We ain't gonna speak on what we speaking around this area to try to create and establish their own community, say a city of Islam or what have you, so.
You just want to drop that.
I was just
drop
about to
that
say.
in.
What we doing with
I
that?
had wanted to kind of drop, but like I said, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. We are still tuned in with Breauxs and Brews. We are coming back with a minute of praise from Tranesha Johnson, and we're gonna get into the nitty and gritty as always. We'll be right back. What's going on, everyone? I am Obatiye Jonqeice, and joined with me is my co-host Jayflair, and we are Breauxs and Brews, and here we are at Sports Zone, located at 4848 Constitution Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're joined with the manager, the man himself, Mr. Omari.
How you doing,
So,
folks?
man, if you guys haven't noticed, we've been recording weekly here for like the past 2, maybe 3 weeks at Sports Zone, and first off, I want to tell you it's incredible hospitality.
Appreciate
We love the
you all.
refill of brews.
You
We
all.
love the food that's bringing. And speaking about the dish that we have here, what are we featuring this Sunday?
This is our every Sunday I do homemade gumbo every morning. This week is a little duck and andouille. Next week might be a little chicken and sausage. The week after that might be a little seafood gumbo. So I do it every Sunday. It's a Sunday thing. Come home Sunday morning.
Absolutely.
Hot bowl of gumbo. So
man, you can't.
I try to keep it fresh every week.
Man, hey, look, it's never too hot for gumbo. How they say it's never too
man,
cold for
never
ice
too cold for
cream.
ice
So
cream.
gumbo we can feature all year long, especially here in South Louisiana. And the brews that we're featuring, we got a domestic, Bud Light, and we're pushing a local, a beater, Andy Gator, which we have. And we had a great show today. Man, the guests enjoy it, the hosts we enjoy it. And what was the dish that we had earlier? Was it a?
I had I call it the loaded Gulf po' boy. It has catfish, shrimp, crawfish, all caught here in Louisiana on a Liederheimer po' boy bread straight from New Orleans, freshly baked every day. And I made a chipotle lime remoulade sauce on top. So it's a little spicy, a little sweet, a little smoky too when you eat it.
The way that we love it here, man.
And then next week I have a French pork chopped on the grill, a little fig pear puree with a little mushroom pine nut rice pilaf to go with it.
Hey,
I don't know what he said,
but it
that
sounds
sound
good. You talk about a cook. You talk about a show, someone who can really, reach every level as far as taste buds and the
God knows
palate.
his stuff.
This guy knows his stuff most definitely, and we're so grateful to be here. And again, sir, we're so appreciative for you having us here.
Make sure y'all come
Absolutely.
check us out,
And
man.
so,
Come
also,
enjoy
if
some
you
of this
don't
food.
know, if you come into the Sports Zone while we are here recording our weekly podcast, if you mention Breauxs and Brews, you get 10% off your ticket. Or whatever that you may order. So we push brews, we push good food, and we push great conversation and knowledge, of course. So shout out to our city of Baton Rouge. Shout out to our host that we had, guest that we had for today, and we're so appreciative. So we go ahead and start out. My name is Obatiye Jonqeice of Breauxs and Brews. Join with me,
Jayflair.
and Mr. Omari of Sports Zone. We're signing out. And we are back with Breauxs and Brews. I'm pretty sure you should know by now, but if you don't, I am Obatiye Jonqeice, and join with my co-host
Jayflair.
Tranesha Johnson.
and we are still here with our two special guests, Mr. DJ Bootsie, Miss Deanna Williams of Custom Creation. I know, y'all, she's very shy. I don't think she said more than a sentence, but we still, we're still glad to have her.
Definitely chiming in over here.
That,
That's
we'll move around for you. All right, so Flair, man. So we said with a question before we're going into break. If y'all don't know, this is Jayflair. He been mighty quiet this episode.
We 6 episodes in.
Man,
You
go
still
ahead,
trying
man.
to-
What you got, brother?
I mean, I kind of just wanted to spin off of what we was talking about, like how we was just talking about who can say the N-word, who can use the N-word, whatnot. I also wanted to ask, can a black person be racist?
Yeah.
And how?
Can we?
Yeah.
In this
If you're
society?
oppressed,
In this society, can we be
if we're
racist?
oppressed,
Yeah.
we don't have the
How?
power to change
Uh,
the way
and-
somebody's life gonna go. I feel like we can't.
And
be
if you
racist.
think about it, the definition of racism is when you systematically oppress another
we
race
can't do that. We the minority.
because you feel like you're inferior or they're inferior to you. So
Okay, so
We can't do
in
that.
this
we could be
society,
prejudiced. I don't think
we
can
are
be
the
racist.
oppressed race.
Okay.
So how can we be racist?
I mean, you got to think about it. I mean, the same way how the white people can be racist, a black person can be racist. It don't matter about.
we can. I feel like. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Ask your question.
I was finna say. I feel like we could be prejudiced. We could be discriminative, but we can't be racist.
I mean, because like Elijah Muhammad said, like to be racist. I can't remember the is. Judge me, English teachers. I'm sorry, but as far as like the is, like a piano is, a violinist.
Pianist.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like you're a perfectionist. That's being
You'll
prejudiced.
perfect.
Come on.
But it's more so meaning like if I just love being black and I speak on black, you calling me a racist?
That's
because
no.
I love my
That's not
craft.
racist. That's
Okay.
not racist.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
culture.
Yeah.
Personally,
Go ahead.
Please tune in.
Because I don't have the power to affect your job, your income, where you live. White people have the power to affect that.
Exactly.
As a black person, I can say I don't like you, but that's not going to touch your life or your kids.
Exactly.
Or your kids' kids. Or your kids' kids.
So if I'm a black CEO and a white applicant comes to me, I can say no because you're
I'm
white.
saying-
Okay, now
But
that since
that's-
you have the power to do
Yeah,
that,
it's all
that's
about where
racist.
you're-
But it's a lot of black people
But see, that's my
empowered to
thing,
do
though.
that.
It's more white people empowered than it is black people.
Exactly,
empowered.
that's
So,
the whole-
Overall, it
They're
would have
only
to work
empowered
like
because
that.
we allow them to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a mind thing.
I don't think we allow them to.
I
I don't think we allow them to.
It's
Number
years of
wise,
oppression.
it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
years
it's a-
of
it's a-
oppression.
I agree
Nat
that it's
Turner
a-
obviously wasn't
I agree
oppressed.
that it's a mind thing for you to feel oppressed, for you to act
Yeah.
oppressed.
Exactly.
I agree. It is a mind thing. But when it comes to the systems that have been put
And the
in
fact
place
that it
to-
exists.
for
Yeah,
us
it
to
exists.
fail-
I mean, now
Statistics will
we'll
prove
be a
that.
fool to say that the system does not exist.
Right.
But for a black person to say that you're still being oppressed against and thus and so forth, it's different avenues for us to grow and be to where we have to be. It's
I
more so
agree.
it's a mental. So if you mentally feel like you're still being caged, that's because you haven't mentally tried to grow.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
if
It's
you
just-
you know how someone can say, can a black person be racist? I really feel we can be racist or prejudiced or whatever you want to put it. Now, a black person can have a kid with any person. What you gonna call that baby? Black.
Black.
So how can we be the inferior race and be, you know what I'm saying?
I never said we were inferior, but we are the minority. That's just
Fact.
that's just
We're the
facts.
minority
We're the
due,
minority.
due to system.
Exactly.
Like,
But at the
That's
end
why I said in this society and with
but
the
at
structures
end of the
that
day-
are
but
put
at
in
the
place.
end of the day,
we
it's
can
still
be
a
racist
mental.
because it's more us than it is them.
Yeah.
But here, it's more them than it is us. So
And I feel like years later,
I still think, you know, a black person can still be racist because I'm gonna give you an alternative. Just like the white kid that went into the church in South Carolina and killed all the black folks. Let's flip that and let that been white folks in the church and a black person walked in. It would have been racially motivated. Same thing with we're gonna reverse all of these mass shootings that didn't happen by white folks. We flip it. It's all white kids, Asian kids, and a few black kids. But a black person went in and did it. See, the thing is, when a white person do it, is mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
No, they terrorists. They terrorists. That's what I call it. They terrorists.
because you are, you putting terror into
Yeah, yeah.
You putting the
You know, we so focused about, you know, keeping Mexicans and building the wall and so focused on other stuff. You know, if we was to flip all of those shootings,
Think about minorities. Mexicans minorities.
well, yeah, they are minorities. But I'm just saying, if we was to flip all those incidents and it became all white kids, and just like the incident that happened 2 weeks ago in LA, white person killed multiple people, multiple races. He was mentally challenged. He was in the military. But if that was a black person, for one, he would have been dead right there.
exactly.
He wouldn't have killed himself.
Exactly.
You know, so I still think, you know, even with us being a minority, you know, not all black folks, but certain black folks, they still have that power. If you put it in your head to be a racist, you can do that. I don't think it don't have a lot to do with where you work at. Because, I mean, think about it. You have people because they not making enough money at a certain job. And they feel they should make money. And they click. And they go kill everybody in the job. It was racially motivated. Still. Yeah. I mean, even though they have, it comes out being, the news, the media are put it into a different light. Like, black folks is a different light. White folks is a different light. So, even though it'll never come out being racially motivated, you still have if a black person go and kill 30 white folks, it's racially motivated.
Because they call Nat Turner a racist.
Call that what?
They call Nat Turner a racist.
Oh.
I think when you get to a point mentally of you tired of the other side, I don't think it's more so. Because
I think when you pro-black in general, you get looked at as
Malcolm X was a
like
racist. Malcolm X hated white people because he believed so much in his own. Yeah. Anytime you rock or you walk for your own kind, you're considered a racist. So when you speak in a black person being racist, absolutely. Because if I say I'd rather, it's not so much of social like you guys are speaking, right? If I say I want nothing but black people in my restaurant or growing black businesses in my community, someone can say that you're racist. Why you don't want white people over there?
Because we're an anomaly, and because it's more of them than it is us. I feel like.
I mean, I think that's what we think.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, how can it be? Because there is so many. It's like you can't, like there's your Chases, there's your Whitneys, there's your, it's so much more than just that one incident or that one CEO who will only hire black people. It's so much more. I feel like if anything, that's balance. It ain't racism, that's balance, because we don't get the same opportunities. There is no equity. We don't get met where we are. We don't.
Right. I mean, but if we depend on the system, then yeah.
For other races, I feel as if they build themselves up first too. You look at Chinese people; they work together and then they address.
Yeah, Vietnamese man, they all.
Jewish people, they stick together and then they go.
They're not classified as a racist, right? They're not classified for self-growing.
That which isn't right. If you look at us when you're trying to do the same thing that other.
But
we're classified as a racist.
That's crazy. That's not right. Yeah, I don't think that's right either.
So can a black person be
I mean,
racist?
but
I feel you.
Think about what race was invented. It was put into society by white people, so we can classify social statuses, if you will. Race was created in like the 1700s.
Like I say, our brothers that were here before us, they ain't deal with, they was forced.
Right.
What you mean it was forced?
Speaking of Indians and Native Americans, the systems that we have in place now, they killed them off.
Right.
They isolated them off.
Right.
So it's.
I feel like we all saying the same thing. Like.
Essentially.
Yeah, essentially we are. We all saying the same thing. We all believe that,
I mean, but like Jay asked, can a black person be?
No, he feels like they can. I
don't think so either. I don't think so either. Just literally because of
in this society, at least.
And power. It's just because unfortunately, we can't make a big of an impact.
I think we just have two different, we just have separate definitions
of racism.
Like a racist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Because I feel like what you're saying is prejudice and discrimination.
Right.
What you mean?
Discriminate, like how he was saying, if a black person goes into a church and shoots somebody up, that is an act. Right. Discrimination is an act of hate.
Right.
Racism is a system, is a structure.
Right.
Of oppression. We don't have any systems.
I mean, well, I think you answered the question. I mean,
The prison system against us, the school system where we live.
Institutionalized racism.
Plants and stuff like that matters.
Right.
So we have no power to say, okay, we're gonna put all of these people over here. We don't have that power. Right.
Exactly.
Like we don't have that, so that's not fair to say that.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like, when one say we don't have the power to do it, because we're so institutionalized with what has been told and given to us, I
mean, but we just going off the what's put in front of us.
We can only work with what we have.
We can only work with what we have because it was what we were given. But like one say, take the knowledge, dig deep, try to grow your own.
Agreed.
So,
but when we grow our own, they tear it down, man.
They do. Because they're bigger.
Black Wall
Wall
Street.
Street, they burnt to the ground.
They blew it up, but it's. We don't want to. I think that's an off the air topic.
I don't think so.
Bring everything to the front.
I mean, like I said, it's like, that's just genuine. I don't feel like, because it's so much. It's like, Because like it might not be exactly how you guys are saying it, and just you know let me speak because you know how y'all are. But
we gonna come for his neck.
You know, it's more so like you know how the older generation, or maybe just like we might have a newer generation with old mindsets. Oh man, the white man ain't gonna let you do nothing. The white man ain't gonna let you go here. The white man ain't gonna let you get no job. Man, it's a mental mindset. It's a mental frame. So if you allow that to happen, then of course that's the way that that's the way you're gonna walk and that's the way you're gonna talk. But if I tell myself, I am a black man and I'm about growing and bettering my community to where we can have our own. The land don't belong.
Agree with what you're saying
because
I don't think I wasn't saying that just because racism exists and because I feel like white people can be racist and black people can't. I didn't say that means that I feel like I'm oppressed or that I live as though I'm oppressed. I never said that.
A lot of racism is taught though.
Agreed. You don't come into this world. Them kids playing with each other.
Because kids don't see color.
It was a dog test that happened. I think the dog test happened in like 1990, where they gave it was a white child, a black child. They gave him a white.
Somebody paid attention in psychology. I see you, brother.
Hey, it's knowledge, bro.
If you have parents that have an attitude of oppression that say, "Oh, the white man can't do it," but that child is gonna grow up thinking the same way. I can't do nothing because I'm black. So you can't really blame that child, and that's for what they was talking.
And
the environment around them has to change for them.
In psychology, that's called the labeling theory.
And that's where you get into like just the knowledge of self. Really just seeking out and growing knowledge.
But I mean, how do we find a knowledge of self if it's not taught in the institutions that we're supposed to? But that's a whole nother topic.
It comes from parents.
That's a whole nother topic.
I mean, it comes from parenting. It comes from, but then it's like, as we all know, like, I showed you the video of Brother Nuri Muhammad that was speaking where at the site of Alton Sterling was killed. If you're going through the school system, like, as we all know, a black and a white child starts school the same way. They grow through 1 through 12th the same way. If all that white kid is seeing is George Washington's.
He feel like he could be somebody. But
he's gonna walk a little higher than.
Yeah, he's gonna stick his chest out a little more.
So the school system itself is created for that.
Yeah, like they don't teach
institutionalized racism.
They don't tell you about Nat Turner. They don't tell you when Nat Turner said, "You know what? Enough is enough."
They only teach you about what Martin did.
No one knows.
They want us to be peaceful, so that's what they
ain't gonna tell you about what Brother Malcolm and Marcus Garvey.
Malcolm X history.
Man, we don't learn about that until February come around.
Man, I was in a third
until
grade.
February come around, we don't learn nothing about
ourselves.
ourselves.
And I had a Black History project, and we drew names, and I had Malcolm X.
You took Miss Sims, huh?
I took Miss Sims.
I already know.
And my teacher was like, "You know what? That's a good person for you." I didn't know who Malcolm X was, didn't know what Malcolm X stood for. In the third grade, so then I get to the point, I'm like, wow.
But the fact that you didn't know, up until third grade,
so it's like,
being
but then it's about like what's in around you. If all I see is drunks, crackhead, that's all I think, right? Yeah. Until I go into school, the school ain't teaching me about people. When you see someone of you that has done good or doing good, you can relate to that more.
Representation matters.
It's even bad now because when you really think about it, and we talked about this earlier, with social media, YouTube, like the one thing with me growing up that I've always done, whether it was at school or I always went to the library. You know what I'm saying? To check out books, to read up on, because you have to give yourself, teach yourself your own knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Okay, they teaching this in school. Okay, cause with my cousin growing up, he was a good artist. He draw good. He's an architect now in Houston. So with him, he would draw Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, different African American people. You know what I'm saying? So I would ask, who that is? Who is that?
And then you research.
And then I would research. Like, the one thing with me, to learn about something, you have to find the knowledge in it. For me to learn about the music industry, I had to learn about it. I learned about all the songs that get played on TV. Them people, the persons that did those songs, and I'm not talking about the artist itself. So just like Jermaine Dupri wrote for this person, like he wrote music for Mariah Carey, he gets a check off of that. If you don't give yourself that knowledge, you can't cry wolf when, man, that's my song. No, that ain't your song. That's his song.
Right.
So the whole thing is, I don't care what it is you do. You know, you want to be a racist? Guess what? You got to read on being a racist.
True.
You got to read the knowledge.
Facts.
You want to be pro-black? You want to take the same path as Malcolm X, the same path as Martin Luther King, or this person? You want to find out more about what happened to Nat Turner or any other African American? Because the thing is, it shouldn't just be February we learn Black history.
Right.
You should know Black history year round.
Yeah, absolutely.
It shouldn't be, okay, we know what the school gonna do.
Yeah,
but what are you gonna do?
Doing more than school.
Just like when we leave from this table today, what we gonna do when we leave here?
Right.
I'm going this direction, you going that direction. You know, that's the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? We got to teach ourselves the knowledge and stuff. You got to teach our kids the knowledge. Or if you don't have kids, you know, your nephew, your niece, your cousin, you know.
And that young kid who cutting up on the bike in your neighborhood.
It shouldn't be. The only thing they know is Beyonce, Ariana Grande, this person, that person. You know, they know the whole Migos song, but don't know nothing about what's going on in school. They know the whole Boosie album, but don't know nothing about what's going on in school.
I think some parents are so dependent on the school system to teach their
Which is so not okay. So not okay. Especially
and I think the other thing is too.
Rap lyrics just to teach their kids.
Just to get through to them.
And that's cool when you use, because I mean, when you think about it, that's how everything is coming to now. If you look at the TV commercials, McDonald's,
they all rapping, they all got a tune, got a beat behind it, trying to appeal to black
rhyming
people.
up here with Chick-fil-A, man.
Yeah. So, it's the only way they can learn. That's just like,
that's not true.
if you really think about it, and it's sad that you have to go to that extreme to teach a kid, that you just can't
send them to school
and
they retain.
Entertain them, or teach them that way. I ain't gonna say entertain, but teach them that way. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach them by rapping or singing a song. You know what I'm saying? The singing what you got in your lesson plan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like my teachers back,
they
wasn't doing that.
1 + 1 is what?
Exactly.
Ain't no 1 + 1 and you got one. Nah.
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just, for one, we have kids having kids, kids having babies, you know, but it's but you know what though?
At least you stepped up to the plate.
But see, my thing is,
it's a lot of people that don't even
but see,
try.
my thing is, and when I say you have kids raising babies,
you can be 40 and still be a kid.
Yeah, like I'm a kid to my heart. But I'm a kid in my heart. I mean, her daddy is a kid to his heart. But it's like, the one thing I noticed is when you have a kid that's 15, 16 years old that have a child that's bringing a blessing into this world, they don't appreciate that. And then the thing is, you know, sometimes you don't have mom and dad at home to take that slack.
Absolutely.
Look, you go to school, I'm going to take care of the baby.
I'm going to watch the baby while you in class.
Right. You don't have that. But then the other bad alternative to it is, I'm not finna be doing no stanky leg, doing no flex, doing no ratchet with you. You finna go and do these lessons that you got to do that the teacher sent home with you. See, it's cool to be cool with your kids,
but don't be their friend.
But don't be their best friend. And the thing is, like, you could be a best friend with your child,
right?
But it's a cutoff.
You gotta draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, ain't do that homework. Not no man, do the homework.
You know, and it's sad. It's sad when I see, just like I see on social media. It's sad when you see a parent smoking weed with a child. You know,
with a child.
You know,
let's be specific.
Yeah, with a child.
Nothing wrong with when you get a little older if y'all have that relationship.
Yeah.
But as a child, that is so irresponsible.
You know, you got to learn how to draw lines of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, like me, I've done what I did in my past. Mm-hmm. I don't do any of that anymore. Yeah. I might drink sociably here and there, but I don't drink sociably around my kids or with my kids.
Yeah. I feel like if you do that, man, you lose all credibility as a parent, man. Like,
like it's like we buddies. Oh, now you want to tell me about my life? When we was just
this and this. Like,
man, we was just doing this yesterday. Now you want to try to correct me today? Yeah, it's a line.
So,
we gotta get into this.
Oh yeah, Tranesha, you gotta lift our spirits right quick. We
hit
it.
So as you all know, we promised a segment, a newly
installment.
A new installment. segment.
Jayflair.
Oh, shots.
Bang, bang.
Shots out to Jayflair.
No.
Shots out to Jayflair. Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong.
Shots out to one and shots fired at the other.
Hey, look, I had my bulletproof vest all day. So
shot at OB.
Ain't nobody shoot at you.
Ain't nobody shot.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. So now, Miss Tranesha Johnson with the minute of praise. So for those who don't know, I'm gonna go ahead and. A quick bio. For those who don't know, our sister, Miss Tranesha Johnson, is involved in ministry. She is a pastor. Thrive Thursdays, which is an...
I'm not a pastor.
Okay. A minister.
I'm not a pastor.
I don't know the terminology.
Yes.
Minister?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was a difference.
It's a difference. Pastor, you have a church. Like, it's your church.
Go ahead and teach us. We can go ahead and get into that.
I never knew that.
I thought a pastor was someone who spoke the word.
Different offices. Elders, a lot of
pulpit minister. If they said you was in
something. If you was actually, not to cut you off, but actually, with at the radio station, we have different pastors and ministers come there. And the lady I just talked to Thursday or Friday, she's a pastor, but we call her a minister.
Okay.
So that's why I was when you said no, it's a difference.
She's a pastor.
So the
pastor.
minister is maybe like a
minister. Yeah.
So is a minister like someone who's in just the pulpit?
I mean, no.
Okay.
No, you can minister anywhere. This is ministry.
Okay.
This is ministry. So
go ahead and get into your minute of praise, Sister Tranesha Johnson.
I didn't know how you guys wanted me to go about this, but I just got one little scripture, and it said in James 2, it reads, "You foolish person, do you want evidence that faith without deeds is useless?" We hear that scripture, we hear it conveyed, we hear people talk about faith without works is dead, faith without works is dead, and we as a society, as a people, we put so much emphasis on having the faith to do something, having the faith to launch out, having the faith to believe that God is able to do something. However, and it's so cliche, it's the norm, we know that faith without works is dead, but how many of us are actually doing that work that goes along, that accompanies that faith? And then we get to a place where we're disappointed that we don't see things being manifested the way that we want them to be manifested, the way that we're believing God. So we're believing God to really do it. We believe, God, you're gonna do it, but we're putting forth the minimal effort as it pertains to us on our part, and we want God to do everything. But I believe that we're in a place now, we're in a season, we're in a time that what God desires is that that our work matches our faith. What it is that we're doing, what it is that we're stepping out and believing Him for, that we truly, truly, truly put forth all of our effort, all of our time, all of our talent, all of our resources, and allow our faith. And a lot of us, we think that we have faith, and we don't have faith, because sometimes God will tell us to do something, and I know everybody doesn't know how to identify the voice of God, but a lot of times it's that little still voice that's saying in the back of your mind, hey, quit this job, hey, and or hey, move to this place, or hey, connect with this person, connect with this individual, just reach out. And so what we have is, we have a lot of faith, but we don't want to have the work to match with that faith. And so I believe right now that the hour that we're in, we have to be willing to go all the way in what it is that we're believing God for. And that's when we're going to start seeing cycles being broken. We're entering into the new year. And so we have so many cycles that are happening. We see cycles. OB was there when I preached that a few Thursdays ago. We have so many cycles in our lives, and we're trying to figure out why the cycles are not being broken. God, why am I still only making $40,000 a year? God, why am I still unhappy at this job? And it's because you haven't had the ability to work your faith. And so we just have to get to a place where we are truly working, having that work to accompany the faith that we're walking in. Because when you're working that faith, that's when all things are going to come together. The Bible says that you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. So if your fruit is not matching your faith, then that's what lets you know that you need to be doing more work. And that's our meaning of praise for today.
Hey,
Hey,
absolutely. Man, again, I definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And again, too, it's our guests, man. Thank you guys
Appreciate
so much.
y'all
You
for
know,
coming.
input, man. Y'all have a great. We look forward to having you guys again. Thank you. I think we all needed it. We always needed it. So going forward with Tiffany Talks, a minute of praise to just, overall just Breauxs and Brews.
Absolutely.
We definitely. So again, like I said, I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, to Miss Deanna Williams with Custom Creations. We looking forward to having
today.
Hey, look, we looking forward to having that bunt cake.
Yeah.
We need that next Sunday, by the way.
Okay. Next Sunday.
Hey, then we look forward to that too, man.
That's on camera. I want you to know.
And we gonna pay for it, y'all, because we don't want freebies. We
paying. We support our own over here.
Man, into the great DJ Bootsie. Man,
Shout out.
glad to have you here, sir. And
glad to come, man.
Absolutely, a voice of the community, which we've been hearing, thus and so forth, and just globally, man, just getting out there. And like I was telling him earlier, not to make him sound old, when he was like, I graduated in '95 from McKneely. Again, we all, McKinley alum except one. Shout out to McKinley, foes up, foes down.
Yes, sir.
But I was like, man, just I remember listening as a kid. I always hearing you might just turn on the radio and hear, I'm DJ Bootsie.
No, everybody knows their voice.
And then it's like, man, to actually, and now you guys have the face to it. Whom you haven't had them, haven't had the opportunity to see them. Again, I appreciate our shout out to E, our cameraman. We
behind the
appreciate
scenes.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sergeant McKneely, who joined us earlier. He had to go out and do.
If y'all want to join the police force,
shout out to Flair.
Hey man,
Officer Flair in the making.
Officer Flair in the making. Man, it's just the viewers who steady, tune in and check us out week to week. Man, please hit, subscribe, hit the like button. Shout out to Sports Zone again to our man Amari with bringing gumbo, and I'm not sure what that po' boy was, but it was a seafood po' boy. Man, it was delicious, and they're located at 4848 Constitution Avenue. So if you're in the area, they have TVs. We've been watching the game all day. If you guys haven't noticed,
I think the viewers gonna notice.
So
they definitely gonna notice my eyes.
Right. And man, just again, appreciate each and every one of you, and praise to the Most High for allowing each and every one of us to be here and just continue to be great. So, as the question was thrown around, what are we doing in the community? We're doing this now. Not only this, we're going to put the foot on the ground.
Absolutely.
To
literally.
The holidays are approaching. We have so many things that are coming. Just stay tuned. We're not just going to sit behind the mic and and say.
We're not just going to talk about it.
I think that's man. I think
like
it's
you
different
just said.
Yeah. It's just like a politician, like you mentioned earlier. Like a politician in office. It's one thing for you to get up in there, but if you say you're gonna have two glasses, then you get back here, it's only one. Then what's the Hey, what's the point? Breauxs and Brews knowledge right there. But man, again, to our viewers, thank you guys so much. We're gonna go ahead and sign out. I am Obatiye Jonqeice of Breauxs and Brews, and join with me on my co-host
Jayflair,
Tranesha Johnson,
and still with our special guest, Mr. DJ Bootsie, Miss Deanna Williams. We are signing out. Peace.